So what's up, everybody? It's me, True Star Screamer, and we've got an interesting review for you guys today. These are the Morphonauts combat creatures, and this I actually got from a Kickstarter last year. These just shipped out to me. They came to me actually on Tuesday. Today is Wednesday that I'm recording this. Not sure what day it's going to actually get published, but still. This was an interesting one. We had, at the time, we actually, on the figure reaction show, we had just had the guys from Legendary, the Meta Travelers on. And I was perusing Kickstarter, and this was also going on at the same time. So I do have the Legendary figures on Kickstarter, but then I also got these. And they impressed me. I got all four. It did not hit the stretch goals, so I didn't get any of the bonuses stuff, but I did get the complete line effectively. We've got... This is interesting. So as you can see, I've got two of these guys already unboxed. And don't worry, I'm not going to be going through all four of these. I'm sorry. I'll go over them briefly, but we're not going to go over all four of them. We're primarily going to be talking about the $2 that you see here, and we'll just to let you guys know the kind of the format's a little different today. And we'll kind of go through the thoughts of what we have here and the value of them all. So I'm not going to get into the lore. There's probably hopefully some other reviewer on there, and if you want me to do more, that's what the comments are for down below. With the combat creatures, to start off, we have Lunar, who is a wolf. He's got two swords and a rifle. And almost everyone has a very similar accessory count. So we'll go for that. And here's our art package on here. There is no lore. There is no biography for any of these. Then we have Fire Lion. Fire Lion? What kind of... I don't know how we got these names are. He's got kind of a He-Man sword, which is kind of cool. And then we've got his alternate stuff here. There's our cool picture from the back. For one of our two samples here, we have Brune Skull, who's a bear. There's his back. Finally, we have Sealock, who is the shark. And there's his cool, pretty promotional photo. I kind of want to talk about this because as you can see how the colors are here versus how they are here. A little different, but then again, the lighting, Photoshop, all that stuff. So, those are things to keep in mind. Effectively, for the figures, we've got $2. We have a smooth one, like we've got for the shark here, as is the lion, believe it or not. He's got the smooth buck, and then both the bear and the wolf have the more furry one to it. So it's got a much more textured detail to it. I will say I am very impressed with how they handled the texturing. I do like the fact that the whole thing has a wash on it, which really brings out the details to it. And the details are very nice on the actual bodies themselves. Again, with the smooth one here, it doesn't have any kind of wash, but I think that would actually detract from it. I think it gives that a much more live appearance. And of course, this is a shark, so it's bare skin. All the animals have distinct paws and claws for the nuances to it, but effectively the bucks are the same, which I think is they did a really good job with this. And we're only going to look at one figure when we talk about the some of the features and the articulation because they are identical. So just kind of, it's kind of neat. There's some pros and cons to both of these figures, and we'll talk about that. They've got ports all over. You know what? Actually, I'm going to put this guy aside here. We're going to work with Sealock here. They've got ports all over, the back, the hips, on the gauntlets. And there's more than you see here, because one of the neat things they did in their design is it's all modular. All these chest panels are actually removable. There's another port there. The belt buckle, that was removable. That kind of caught me off guard. When I first saw mine, it was off to the side. I was like, what the heck? Then I realized, oh, that comes off. The jewels and all, those are all the same. The shoulder pads, they're on ball joints so they can pop off. And we're going to be talking about that because this has a lot of ball joints to it. When I first saw the picture, and first saw the figure and I was comparing the picture You know, this gauntlet hole here was much more prominent, but mine was off to the side. I'm like, oh, they changed it. And I realized once I put the hand down, you've actually got to port up the gauntlet, which is kind of neat because that's how this melee weapon is actually mounted. One thing, though, you have to keep in mind, you can slide it in, but there's actually the actual smaller part where the weapon can stick to. It actually goes in. You have to put it in deeper to there. Did I just break the kneecap? Son of a bitch, I just did. Wow, that just happened right here, right now. Actually, it's not too bad. I think I can glue that in, but that's annoying. Wow, okay, so, just so you know, I will be able to glue that back in. It wasn't, like, broken. I mean, I guess the glue that it came on was undone, so not too much of a crisis. So, for articulation, it is very interesting. I'm actually going to put him off to the side, and we're going to bring the bear in. I'm going to go ahead and pull those gauntlets off. I'll try to be a little more careful with it. One of the big things is everything is on a ball joint. The hips, ball joints. These ones are actually a little better than it was on this guy because I can actually see there's a little bit more. There's some friction in here. They've got but that one, this guy, I actually had to put some kiki inside the hips. But I will say those same friction joints are not on the arms. These are very smooth. And so I did put some kiki also inside the shark. I'll be putting it inside this as well. It's not enough to cause a hindrance, but if I put something like the melee weapon in there, I don't think that joint will support the weapon and it'll just slide down. So it's enough, but it could definitely be more. But fortunately, we have the means to fix that. Again, that's not something absolutely horrible because I haven't really talked about this yet. These guys were, for all four of them, it was $120. These guys were $30 figures. I think they're charging, what, $25 for those skibbity toilet things, which I'll never buy. But this is definitely better than that. One of the things I'll say, this feels like a Mattel toy on steroids. So not quite Hasbro, but it's definitely, it's a very good quality figure. Because they do a few liberties that Hasbro doesn't do. So the designers did a great job. I mean, all the joints are pinless. We want to talk about that. You know, we've got no drop-down hips, but we do have our thigh swivel. Again, the dry brush, you know, the wash on here, Hasbro would not do that. I mean, again, this is a very good independent toy. Now, for the armor, the plastic is very plain. You could probably take a panel liner to that if you wanted to. I do like, though, that they painted all the jewels and they painted the claws on here. So they did a good job with their paint talent and their paint masters. Again, everything plugs on here. Double jointed elbows. And there is, again, the inside socket is also a ball joint. So it has a butterfly in there. It just doesn't have that little casing in there like McFarlane likes to do. So you can sort of see it. Again, not a bad thing. The main joint is a double barbell in there as well, so he does have some good ab crunch. So the guy can move, and he can look up fairly decent. Shoulder pads are also on ball joints, so if you want to pop and swap those, you can do so. Basically, the way their motif is, one shoulder has the animal head, and then it's just a regular pauldron that's sort of animal themed. In this case, claw themed, you know, still shark jaw themed on there with the shark fin. And they all kind of share these same traits. For accessories, they all essentially have a standard fare. They're all going to have their kind of holding hands that they come on with default. They're going to have 2 sets of trigger hands, which we've got, you know, got example here. And they're also going to have some kind of gesturing hand as well. And again, all are going to be keeping their animal theme. They're all going to have either 1 or 2 melee weapons, which are, it's kind of interesting. Well, actually, they have two melee weapons, but one might be like an animal themed shield or gauntlet that again will go up into the wrist. The lion and the shark have that, or they'll have 2. Sorry about that. Or they'll have 2 this case, I've got the 2 claws, and the wolf's got the 2 curved swords that can also go up into the gauntlets, or of course just be held in the hand here, which is kind of loosely. And they're also on they'll have a ball joint in there. In this case here, like the shark, I like that the shark's got this tooth sword, while the lion has kind of like that power sword. But I do like this sword a lot. All the swords are also going to have a peg here, so you can actually put that on the back, so you can have him geared up, which is, you know me, I love that. Both are going to have rifles, and all the figures are going to have rifles, and this rifle is a neat design. Now, yes, mine came curved out of the package. I haven't figured out if I can use a hairdryer or not. But what is neat is they've got the same base gun, and like this is removable, just like over here. The Gatling part, that's removable, and the secondary handle is removable as well. And then he's got a second port down here. I don't know what I want to slide in that. Maybe that didn't sound right. I'll have to see if the wolf has a different part that slides into here. But I like the fact that he's able to keep, for their design, they all share this universal part, and this is the only retooling. Just a very conservative way of saving money. These will also have 3 ports here, so I could peg it onto the hip. I could have the gun broken down if I want to. Oh, hey, I just noticed that. That's pretty neat. Huh, if I can put that there, put that there. That in there, maybe. Huh, that's kind of cool. Make it look like a heavy-duty plasma rifle. I dig that. Will it fit down in here? Oh, that can work there as well. Yeah, I'm literally figuring this one out for the first time. That's actually kind of cool. Just make that into a much more heavy-duty rifle. Also, I want to point out, like, there's a hole here on there, so we could also peg the side port in here, so I can kind of build up the weapons if I wanted to, or even make it double barrel, Yeah, that's just kind of neat. Does some very good play value. I don't hate that at all. Finally, I wanted to talk about the heads. I already did the switch out on here, but he did have a more natural shark head. As you can see, he's got like this robotic one, and here I've got the more helmeted head here as well, the armored one. I think for the furred ones, I think it works better. I think the smooth plastic just looks too cheap, to be blunt. I mean, I did a good job of keeping the ears on there. This type of smooth plastic, I've tried painting this before. It never comes out well. Maybe panel lining, that's about it, but actual painting it, it just never goes right. Especially with a figure as rare as these guys are going to be, I don't want to mess with it. The shark one, like I said, it looks okay in the armored head. Again, I think I kind of prefer the original as well. I get though why they did that. It just gives some variety to it. For some quick size comparisons, just bring out here your average 6-inch figure. They work out pretty decent for that. And here they are with an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figure. Now, this is an army builder I picked up from a local store. And you see, that I can work with. Now, I really didn't get much in the AWOC, to be honest. I've got the 2 that I've reviewed here, and I've got this guy. But this is probably my most compelling argument for owning these. These guys are actually homages to the old toy line of Battle Beasts. Battle Beasts, combat creatures. Battle Beasts, combat creatures. You see where that's coming from. And alliteration, awesome, folks. And so you've got your anthropomorphic warriors. Gee, what are Animal Warriors of the Kingdom? So, honestly, if you've got a good AWOC collection, this is a great faction to bring in. You know, you could say there's so many different ways you can bring them in as a space-bound mercenary group. You could have them as a secret weapon from Pale's, was it Pale? Or what? I can't remember the other guy's name. No, Pale's the good guy. But you know what I'm talking about. They could be his secret elite soldiers. So I would say this. If you are really big into AWOC, you do have a nice justification for owning this line. Again, I was kind of interested in AWOC for a little bit, and that's also why when I bought into these guys, plus, you know, I've got some of the whole memory toy figures and things like that, so the more I mess with them, though, well, we'll see how it goes. So like I said, these guys were going for $30 each, and these are $30 figures, flat out. I'm going to say that right now. This, you are getting absolutely the money's worth. So if you're on the Kickstarter and you haven't opened yours up, let me tell you right now, they're $30 figures, plus shipping, of course. If you missed out on the Kickstarter and your only recourse on getting these guys is through a reseller, if you are die hard on these, here's what I'd be saying. I wouldn't pay more than $45, $50 shipped on them. So the reseller's going to want to get their money. We all know this. I still think if that pill isn't too bitter to swallow, or if you got some good trade bait, you know, that's what I'm talking about here. They are well done. I would absolutely say, though, you might want to invest in some kind of joint tightener solution, Kiki or whatever, especially for the shoulder joints. The details are well done. The pop and swap technique, you're never going to really... The line never took off enough to really take advantage of it, but it was just a great way for them to use the parts for the bucks, and it was a good way for them saving money, honestly, on production. I can't fault them for that over at Morphonauts. Do I hope they do another project? Yes, I do. Will I back it? Not too sure. But the guys know what they're doing when it comes to action figures. I've absolutely seen worse for more money. And if you've watched this channel, you know what I'm talking about. So, overall, I'm pleased with my purchase. Do I keep them? That's just the direction of my collection. But I do like to support independent toy makers as well. And this is a solid thing. Hopefully we'll see more from these guys. Maybe a wave 2. We'll see. You know, all depends on how the future of independent toys goes. We'll find out at Legion's Con or whatever if these guys make an appearance. But overall, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did this pique your interest? Did you order them? Are you now regretting them? Tell me. I mean, as you can see, I got the guy all geared up, both, you know, melee and his firearm, which, you know me, I love being able to put all the gear on. That is actually a very cool thing. But, again, let me know your thoughts. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. And as always, most importantly, as always, until next time, take care. Peace.